And we're live. Hi, this is Angela Sasser of The Art of Angela Sasser, which is also, you can see my art at angelasasser.com. I really have to get used to having a new name. I had angelicshades.com, but now I'm also angelasasser.com because I'm doing both Art Nouveau and the fantasy covers now. So, blah. Awkward intro is awkward. But yeah, anyways, so this is my monthly studio hangout that's brought to you by my awesome folks over at Patreon. I just like to hop on each month and tell you how my month's been going, and also answer any questions that you guys have sent in about art, life, business, whatever you want to know. And so first, let's start with how this month has been. Guys, it's been awesome. I've just been really happy because I've been able to take some time off to concentrate on some art classes that I've been taking to help improve my work at a fundamental level, and also get ready for the Smart School mentorship coming either in fall or next year. We'll see what my budget allows, but I'm really hitting my education hard so that I can get my work up to a level that I feel will help me be hired by the industries that I want to be hired by, which is the publishing industries. I'm aiming for art cards and fantasy book covers, so I'm really trying to up my game, and I realize that I still needed a lot of training. Even though I've been to college, there's a lot that sometimes college doesn't teach you. So now is that time of assessment for me. I also this month celebrated an anniversary with my boyfriend, and he got me the best presents. I have to show these off. The best presents. It was a month of gigantic books. He got me this awesome book of Eiko Ishioka's work. If you don't know Eiko Ishioka, she's the fashion illustrator for movies like Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Fall, The Cell. See if I can flip. Okay, I'm failing this. Hold on. There. So you remember those creepy suits from The Cell? She designed them, and this book is awesome. It has her design notes. It has a lot about her philosophy and a lot of her earlier work, which I wasn't very familiar with. So it is a beautiful, beautiful book, and it's also very hard to find. So good job, Kevin. You know the way to my heart is through rare books and food and chocolate. So you're doing good, guy. I highly recommend this book to people who are interested in design, because getting inside of the head of a master and learning about why they made the decisions they did is so helpful. So this book's awesome. If you ever see it in the store, get it immediately, because it was not cheap. So that's the first anniversary present. Here's the other anniversary present. Ooh. It's Rebecca Gay's book that I've been waiting on for about a year since the Kickstarter first happened. So I'm so happy to see this. I'm kind of resisting right now because I want to reward myself for finishing the project that I'm working on, which I'll show you guys in a second. But yeah, so gorgeous book. It's all of Rebecca's work from her earlier years in Magic the Gathering and whatnot. And it's just a gorgeous book. It has embossing on the cover, and I got the version with the gold leaf pages. I love gold. So, yeah. Month of books. And let's see, the project I've been working on, aside from all the classes I've been poking away at, is a project where some of my Patreon patrons have already gotten a glimpse because they're special and get to see secret things. I'll show you the design plate for it. It's Naruko from Heavenly Sword, and I've been making a new outfit for reasons. And what this is, I wanted to talk about this cool sketch pad. I got it at Barnes & Noble's, and for knocking out quick, easy designs, you can see there's like lightly printed figures, and then you just color right on top of them with your designs. So it's like a super easy way to actually knock out designs on fashion forums. These are called Fashion Crocus, Croquis. So those are really cool if you want to like quickly get some character designs out. So I discovered that this month as well. It's been really cool. And let me show you how that Naruto piece is coming along. I'm not going to reveal the full thing yet, but you can see a glimpse in my Photoshop. I'm going to screen share. Endless window. There we are. So that is a glimpse of Naruto. And I'm trying a new method of shading where I can at least show you that. It's called the ambient occlusion method, and it's basically where you do the ambient occlusion, which is like a 3D modeling term for the areas where the light is occluded. I'm sure someone else could probably explain it better than me, but you basically do the areas that light would not be able to enter in black, and then you add shadow, and then you add the colors, and you end up with this like really structural 3D looking figure. I'm still kind of new to this method, but I'm really, really loving the results. So can't wait to show you guys the full version of that. In fact, I will be returning to working on this since it's actually due Monday, so I've got some late nights ahead of me. In this window. So the next thing I want to show you that I've been working on this month is classworks. Ignore my horribly cluttered desktop. All right, classwork. So the first class I wanted to tell you guys about is Proko's Figure Drawing Fundamentals. And I think I paid about $100 to take this. It's this online class, and you get access to video lessons where it's self-guided. And I also included in that were packs of really clear photo references of models. And it's been really, really awesome. Like, I get confused by a lot of the Bridgman books I have because they're very technical. So Proko to me is a really easy visual way to get into learning how to draw the figure. And while I kind of sort of know how to draw the figure, my figure drawing still isn't the best. So I'm taking this course to refine my anatomy so that when I do take Smart School later, I don't have to worry about anything else but the ideas rather than being bogged down by the techniques. So here's lesson 1. It's all about gesture. So I did about 100 gesture sketches trying to figure out what's being captured with gesture, which is it's not so much trying to copy a pose, but trying to figure out the energy of that pose, the motion, and just simplifying a pose down to its bare bones so that even if you don't have all the details, you still have enough information there to get across what the figure is doing. Because I actually have a problem where my figures come out really stiff, and I think that's because I never quite mastered gesture. So I'm finding this really super helpful so far. And I've already gone up to lesson 2, which is about the being, which those who don't know the being, it's basically an easy way to simplify the motion of the torso and how it twists and turns and bends. So I've been drawing so many beans. And then it just got weird by the end. If you can name these bean puns, then you get nerd cookies. But yes. So beans, I'm on to the next lesson already, lesson 3, which is on drawing cylinders, boxes, etc. And basically simplifying 3D forms to create a figure. So that's where I'm at now with these lessons. And if you're interested in them, go to proco.com. If you're interested in Proco's lessons, because I really highly recommend them, and I'm not even done yet, but I feel like anyone could learn from him because he's so approachable and just very visual, and his methods of teaching appeal to me as an artist since I'm so visually minded. And I'm also blogging about my experiences. So if you want to see what I'm learning and how I'm applying Proco's lessons, you can go to blog.angelasasser.com and you can read about what I've been learning and observations that I've made as I go through the class. I'm trying to keep that going so people can decide whether they want to invest in that class or not. So check it out. I think that's really helpful. Oh, and one more really cool tool that I've been using this month for my figure drawing lessons is the pixellovely.com tool, which you can find at, I believe it's at artist.pixellovely.com. I should take you to this page here where you can choose to practice animals, figure drawing, hands and feet, expressions, and they got a tool for anything you want to practice. So if you can't get to live sessions, you can use this tool here. And I'll show you how it works real quick. We'll choose only decent models. So what you do is you can just have a standard session where you tell it how long you want to pose to be up on your screen. So 30 seconds, 60 seconds, etc., which is handy. Or you can go to class mode where you can do the 30-minute trainer, which is like 10 poses at 30 seconds, 4 poses at a minute, etc., like you're at a real life drawing session, because that's what they do when you go to them. So you can set up to 6 hours of training. So this is super useful, and you can even pause during the pose if you need to take a break. You can pause the session. So I highly recommend this to anyone who's taking Proco's courses or just wants to practice their figure drawing and might not have the resources to go out and find a session. Or if you can't even find one local, because sometimes it's hard. Okay, so the next class I'm in is painting drama with Chris Oatley, which you can find out more at oatleyacademy.com, which is spelled www.oatleyacademy.com. And what painting drama is a course that's focused solely on the elements of composition. And I'm basically just brushing up my ability to compose a good composition, which I feel has been a weakness for me. Like I kind of rely on the same structure and setup when I'm doing a composition. So I'm really trying to break out of my shell with that. So I'll quickly show you some of the homework we're doing for painting drama. It's also a self-study online course, so you can go at your own pace. Although I have to admit it's hard sometimes because these concepts, I actually wouldn't recommend anyone to take this as an online self-study course. While Proco's is pretty easy to understand through online videos, painting drama has such complex topics that require discussion that I actually recommend, if you have a choice between self-study or learning live on this one, that you actually just take the live course so you can discuss with students and the teacher, because it's too complex really to do self-study. But I got in on the self-study back when that was available, so I'm still going through it. That is how complex it is. So here we have like compositional gestures, simplifying a composition to a single line. visual flow, where you kind of map the flow of an image. Here we go. You map the flow of an image and figure out what part is the focus of the image or the heart. I've been doing hierarchy charts, and this is where you decide what's the most dominant form in a composition, and these are like individual abstractions of compositions. And here I've been mapping out master paintings in black and white, trying to figure out what the most dominant element is and how those paintings translate to masses within the frame of a canvas, which is really helpful for identifying patterns in compositions, because some artists kind of reuse shapes, they reuse layouts, and that's something to be more aware of. So it's been really fascinating, and I'm taking these masterpieces and figuring out why they're so attractive to the people who like them. So that's been really helpful. And definitely still digesting that. My brain is still getting all of this stuff. So here's hoping some of it sticks, yeah. Let's see, other things. The only thing about having all this homework and classes and stuff is that I don't have a lot of new pieces to show, and it drives me nuts. I want to show off things, but all I have really is homework, so I'm not a cool kid anymore. But you know, I'm hoping it means that when I do start back at actual paintings again, that they're gonna really knock people's socks off. So cross your fingers, that's what happens. And that's my month. I've just been busy with classes and taking my time off and putting it to really good use with all of these assignments. So the next thing I have to talk about, let me stop screen sharing. Where did the Hangout window go? Okay, it's here. So the next thing I have to talk about are questions, since I'm done with my monthly updates. And the questions are, I got a lot from people online today. So I have tons this month. I'm so excited. All right, so the first one is from Wendy's, who asks, Angela, how long does it take to finish an angel? Someone must have seen my Angelic Visions book. It's a how-to book I did called Angelic Visions, where you basically have step-by-steps of how to do angels in watercolor and different things like that. And I have to say, most of the images for that book took probably a month at most, sometimes longer if they're really detailed. But I say a month because, and working on nothing but the painting, because I like to research. I like to have the time to let an idea kind of stew, because you do sometimes need to go to sleep and think on an idea instead of just like blazing straight through your creative process. So I do thumbnails, I do research, I do more thumbnails, and then I get to the painting, which can be very tedious if it's something like color pencil. So about a month. So the next question, I have a ton from Marion, so these are for you, Marion. Marion asks, how do you deal with transparency in fabrics, especially in relation to a human figure underneath? That's an excellent question, and I have visual aids, so I'm going to screen share again. Screen share. You shall go to my DeviantArt page. Now I've done transparent cloth on a couple of occasions, and I'm just going to pull those up. What was it called? Here we go. All right, so the main thing about rendering transparent cloth is that you almost always want to paint the skin first. So say for this image here, Lady of January, I actually painted her arm here as if, you know, there was nothing else that was going to be on top of it. So then when I come back and painted the shawl, all I had to do were washes of paint over the skin that was already there. And that's the simple explanation. Is basically just to render the skin underneath and try to be mindful of how when cloth is closer to skin, it's actually more see-through. But when the cloth is either bunched up or farther away from the skin, it's harder to see through to the skin beneath. So if your transparent cloth is laying right up against the skin, it's going to be much more see-through. I actually learned a ton about rendering sheer cloth from doing this master copy here of John William Godward's Offering to Venus. I did this digitally in Photoshop, and what I did is basically try to copy, it's his original on the left. I tried to copy how he made these delicate wrinkles and how you can see through this sheer cloth to the form underneath. And there's even like really cool light being caught in this material, and so you can see her sandal underneath. And that made me, just from staring at this painting for hours and hours trying to replicate it, I learned a lot about sheer cloth. So I definitely recommend observation. Master copies can help with this kind of thing. Find a painting that's has an effect you're trying to learn in it, and then try to copy that effect yourself. Or look at photos and copy those, or set up a still life and copy that. It's all observation, really. And that kind of ties into another question that Marion asked, which is suggestions for a study of drapery and how cloth hangs and folds on a figure. Again, photographs or studying from live models can help that. If you don't have a model that wants to be in front of you, you can hang a sheet over a chair and copy that. It's all practice and observation, which we as artists can't exist and avoid, and we can't expect to learn something by just doing it once. So practice, practice, practice. Everyone hates that cliche, including myself, but it's so true. Okay, one more question from Marion says, or asks, what are some sources for selecting the best brushes for watercolor and how to identify, care for, and store them? See, that's a tough one because, I'm going to switch back to my face. That's a tough one because these days, a lot of people swear by their brush brand. So it's hard to just like recommend the brush brand that perfectly does every dog. Like, I actually like a blend of sable and synthetic, which has some nice spring to it, and it also is soft, so it's like the best of both worlds. But 10 years ago, everyone would have said synthetic brushes are really crap, but they've improved so much in recent times. So I'd say that's more of a try different brushes, try some cheap ones and see what you like, and then once you are more experienced with painting, get more expensive brushes that are going to last longer. But mostly you just want to, when you are investing in brushes, you want to make sure the hair doesn't come out of the tip, that the paint doesn't chip off the handle, which I hate, and that they have the kind of spring, as in the hairs bounce back when you're painting, so that shows that they're not going to warp. And of course, buy proper brush cleaner so you can preserve your brushes. I really have no source for that other than check out your local library and see what painting books are there. I don't even have one particular watercolor book in my collection. I just learned from various artists. If there's any one artist I could say that taught me, it's Stephanie Pullman-Law's Dreamscapes books, and she has a lot on watercolors and brushes and whatnot. And there's my book too, but I don't want to toot my own horn, and most of what I learned anyway was from Stephanie, so Stephanie and the library. So there you go. Stephanie and the library are your sources. And let's see. Next question is from Caitlin. Who is your favorite of someone else's characters to depict? See, I have a lot of artist friends who have a lot of OCs or original characters, so that was really, really tough. So I just looked in my DeviantArt gallery to see what's the fan art I've done the most of. I'm going to switch back to screen share. So the fan art I have done the most of has been for this guy right here, who's like this awesome dragon prince dude. And he is the creation of my good friend, Samantha Hogg. She is known as Zephyr on DeviantArt if you want to check her stuff out and learn more about this character. And I have drawn him a whole bunch of times. And here he is with swords. Here he is with a dragon mask. And I think I just love drawing this man because look at him. Who would love to draw like an awesome looking prince dude with hair danglies and awesome face markings and swords? He hits all my sweet spots. So those are some of the fan arts I've done of Kana. And I know Sam is working on more illustrations of him. So do more, Sam, so I can do more fan arts. Next question is from Kat. How do you set up placement for composition and exciting thumbnails? I'm going to go back to screen share again. I should just maybe leave screen share on. Screen share. Okay, so composition, as I mentioned before, I don't believe is my strong suit. Like, I've kind of relied on the same compositions for a while, but I want to say I'm improving. So I'll show you how I manage the compositions for one of my best paintings to date. If I could find it in my own gallery. This painting had a lot of different iterations, and I wanted to show you. Here it is. Yes. Okay. So the way you get interesting compositions is really you have to thumbnail. I thumbnailed so many different thumbnails for this piece. Like, here's 9 of them, and I'm pretty sure I did even more than this. So I just thumbnailed and explored different directions, because it's only when you start exploring an unexpected direction that you arrive at something that is actually going to be an interesting composition. Because usually the first few you do are kind of derivative until you start pushing the boundaries of your knowledge and comfort zone and arriving at something that is truly unique. Like I did is another set of thumbnails here. And then another set of thumbnails. And you can kind of see where the thumbnails played off one another, where I was like, well, I like the guy with the sword, but what if the sword were longer? Or what if the dagger were longer and the camera was pulled out more? Or what if he had a staff? Or what if the image was super cropped? You know, you just kind of have to explore different moods and layouts. And I'll show you again more thumbnails because they're just so important, and I arrive at my compositions by doing a ton of them. So for my Crucial Start painting, I did so many. Like, here's 9, here's more. And then those are the finalists. So all I can say for this question is thumbnail, thumbnail, thumbnail until you get sick of it. And then you'll have gotten somewhere. So before I unscreen share, let's see. Kat also asks, where to get inspiration? Where do you find stock, search terms, etc.? Okay, so these days my biggest source of inspiration is Pinterest. And I have a Pinterest page at pinterest.com/angelic shadow, just like it sounds. The word angelic with the word shadow on it. And I keep all of my inspiration sorted by boards. So it's basically become my brain. And yeah, so I highly recommend joining Pinterest and keeping a track of what is, oh, excuse me, that's my break thing telling me to get off the computer. Keep track of what inspires you so you're in tune with what art moves you. And also when you have a reference that maybe you couldn't find later, you'll have it saved it somewhere. And if you don't like Pinterest, there's always saving it to your hard drive too. Like I'm a big believer in saving references because they really can save you on a project. And I like to have inspiration around me all the time. I've got Pinterest on my phone, my tablet, etc., etc. And I also wanted to share a tip with Pinterest. If you're on there, you can go to following, and let's see if I can remember how I did this. There's a way to add interests. How did I do it? I added artists that I like to interests. And then my Pinterest feed like fed me all the cool stuff from just the people that I wanted to know more of. Nope, it's not friends. Huh, maybe it was some kind of weird beta thing. Oh, it's not there anymore. So I think I stumbled upon a secret Pinterest thing. But I swear there is a way to add the names of artists that you like. So you're always being fed art from people that you like or art from fashion designers. You know, that's what I do is I'm always on here trolling for inspiration. So that's what I do. Oh, and one more good source of inspiration, or at least for reference hunting and research, is DeviantArt. I know everyone is like, God, this community is so crappy, and yeah, it's got its moments of llama-ness, but the resource community here is just amazing and helpful. And I grab a lot of my stock images from here, and there are also really great tutorials on here. And I even have my own stock account that I'm going to go ahead and plug because I'm a very artist-friendly stock provider for obvious reasons. I understand your pain. So you can use any of this stuff free for your personal projects or for like $1 for your commercial projects. So it's super cheap stock. And you can get like Art Nouveau stuff and things like that. I have a lot of pirate chicks wielding guns. So lots of people wielding swords and blades and fantasy art stuff. So because usually when I shoot model reference for a project, I put the extra shots up on my stock account. So that's themuseslibrary.deviantart.com. But there are also tons of other places tons of other providers that provide low-cost stock on DeviantArt. So use that for research, for anatomy especially. And I just have to say, otherwise, I just read a lot for inspiration. I mean, like, look at behind me. There's just shelves and shelves of books. So I read comic books, I read fantasy novels, I watch movies. Just keep yourself immersed in what you love and keep in tune with what really moves you. And that's the way to be inspired. And when you're just having one of those days where you can't get inspired, just doodle. I find that when I reach a point of saturation and I'm like, oh, too much awesome, I just have to like take a step back and realize that what I'm going to draw doesn't always have to be a masterpiece. So you can just let yourself enjoy inspiration and enjoy not making a masterpiece. I mean, like, look at all the like scribbles I'm doing for homework right now. I'm trying to learn to enjoy that. So enjoy simplicity. I've actually run over a few minutes, but let me check and see if I have any questions. Okay, let's see. Hey JK, I just now realized that the Q&A thing was on the side. I had to unhide it, but now I'm reading your comments. The ambient occlusion method is a lot like Grisaille. It is very much like that. And yes, it is an awesome book. I forgot to show, if you're still here, you watch this later, Jay. The cool thing about this book, not just the pre-printed figures, is that the very front of it has fashion design terms. So if you want to learn clothing forms, it actually defines each one. And this is what it looks like in the front if you want to try to hunt this down in the store. It's just like a just sketchbook, and it's probably in the fashion design section of Barnes and Nobles. That's where I got it from. And unless you have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye for now. And so thanks for joining me this month and my disorganized self. And thanks for all the great questions. I had a lot of fun answering them. So hopefully I'll see you next time. If you have any other questions you'd like to run by me, just throw them up in the next event and I'll see them. So thanks for all the support, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.